This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell and Unette Gentry. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Give them a call, 727-9900. Today's news is also brought to you by Gunny's Air Conditioning and Heating. New service and repair. Call Gunny's 775-727-6800.
Welcome and thanks so much for joining us here on News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Unette Gentry. It is Tuesday, May 10th.
Well, last night we told you about what at the time was believed to be a two-vehicle crash in front of the Pahrump Walmart. Well, it turns out 3 vehicles were actually involved. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue Chief Scott Lewis says a motorcycle was also caught up in that crash.
Yesterday afternoon, we were dispatched for a report of a 3-vehicle accident, including a motorcycle. As crews were responding, Medic 1 arrived on location, found in fact that there were 3 vehicles. The 2 passenger vehicles was an offset head-on collision with significant damage sustained by both vehicles. The motorcyclist fared the best in this particular incident. He did come into the scene, but he fell to the side. He wasn't directly impacted by the initial collision. And while he did have some minor injuries, he declined medical treatment or transport. There were several others that were treated, and one was transported from the scene. We wanted to go with trauma to that one, but we decided to go local with the parental guidance on the recommendation. This is an old message, but it could be stated enough. Please wear your seatbelts. In this particular case, it is thought that at least a couple of the occupants were not wearing their seatbelts.
In more local news, a home on Dutch Ford Road here in Pahrump catches fire for the 2nd time this year. Pahrump Valley Fire Chief Scott Lewis says this time an electrical problem may be the cause.
We were dispatched for a report of a structure fire early Saturday morning. As crews were responding, we were notified that there was a working fire with flame and obviously smoke showing. As we arrived on location, and actually just before we arrived, we recognized that address as a previous fire that had occurred back in February. So we were very familiar with the property and the location. We also recognized that this is an area without fire hydrants, so we knew we were going to be using water from our water tenders. As we arrived on location, our first 2 crew found fire showing in the exact same area in the center part of the house where the fire had previously burned. So they knew that that floor was weakened. We knew that the structural integrity of the roof was also compromised, so they commenced a defensive exterior attack, which means they did not go directly inside because, again, the weakened conditions. They were able to quickly control the fire with no further extension, then moved to a modified interior to make sure nobody was in the house, make sure that there was nothing burning, left burning under the underside of the structure. So they went inside, went underneath the floor, checked everything, and determined that although the occupants were living outside of the structure, there was parts of the structure that they were reoccupying. So we had Valley Electric come out. We found numerous electrical issues on the property. Valley Electric secured the power at the pedestal, and there were no injuries. We did assess 1 civilian for smoke inhalation, but he refused medical treatment or transport.
Well, strong winds typically make it more difficult to fight a fire, but Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue Chief Scott Lewis says Sunday the direction of those winds may have actually helped save a Pahrump home from serious damage.
We were dispatched for a report of a structure fire on Keisha. The initial report was that the back porch of the dwelling was on fire and that it was extending towards the primary, which is a double-wide manufactured dwelling. As crews arrived, they found the fire mostly extinguished. However, there's still some smoldering areas. The crew quickly extinguished the remainder of the fire, checked for extension, found none, determined that there was no life safety issues with no injuries. The investigation revealed a probable accidental fire, most likely related to inappropriately discarded smoking materials with the high winds.
The residents were at home at the time or not?
They were at home, but they did not know that their back porch was on fire. It was observed by a neighbor who lived to the rear of the property. They quickly came over and notified them. So all life safety aspects were taken out. If that fire had been located on the front porch instead of the rear and would have been directly driven by the wind, and we could have had a much different story yesterday.
And traffic blocked in all directions today while Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies investigate the cause of a 2-vehicle crash this afternoon on Pahrump's south side. Auxiliary units were on scene while Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue medics evaluated the occupants of both vehicles. Fortunately, all declined to be transported to local medical facilities due to minor injuries.
And medics and police were also called to Comstock Park this morning for a vehicle versus wall crash. No injuries were reported as a result of this incident. Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies are investigating the cause of this crash. And we'll return in just a moment with more local news.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on. This segment of News 25 is brought to you by Dr. George Leaks, Pahrump's optometrist since 1990, offering full spectrum eye care for children and adults. Call today, 727-8300. News is also brought to you by Lisa Spahitz and Mike Plasmeyer at Country Financial Insurance. Auto, home, life, and commercial. 775-727-8920.
Welcome back to News 25. Well, a police call for a fight in progress in Gabbs ends with the arrest of one woman who's accused of shooting at someone in the center of town. Brad Francis tells us what happened.
A Nye County Sheriff's Office deputy was dispatched to the corner of Bruce Site and Main Streets in Gabbs. That's where several people told the officer Linda Seeger pulled out a handgun, pointed it at them, and said she was going to shoot them. The victims explained this happened after a verbal argument with Seeger turned physical. One of the victims told the deputy Seeger pointed the gun at him and fired one shot. They described the handgun as a Chrome .357 revolver. In the arrest report, the deputy says several witnesses stated they heard a gunshot but did not actually see the gun. When the officer spoke with Seeger, she stated she had gotten into a physical altercation with the alleged victim, but said she was simply defending herself. After being taken into custody, Seeger said she never fired the gun, but the officer says she later changed her story, in one version saying she shot a round into the air, and in another version saying she shot at the ground. A family member retrieved a gun that matched the description of the one the victims described. The officer took possession of that gun for evidence. Seeger was placed under arrest and booked into the Nye County Detention Center on 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon, 1 count of assault with a deadly weapon on a vulnerable person, 1 count of discharging a gun where a person might be, and 3 counts of aiming a gun at a person.
Well, you might have been there at Petrick Park over the weekend. The monster trucks took over McCullough Arena at Petrick Park over this past weekend. There were also mini monster trucks driven by mini drivers. Maddie Eagleston travels the country with Live a Little Entertainment Group, which produces a variety of family-friendly shows. She explains what they do and why.
We just do this because we love to entertain people. We just want to take people for 90 minutes of their time and just let them forget and make their day a little bit better. So monster trucks is just the tip of the iceberg. We do monster trucks, we do concerts, we do dirt drags, we do derbies, we do zombie hunting monster truck buses with the Zombie Rampage in October. We really care a lot about community involvement. I've got the Pahrump Disabilities Outreach Program here that we did a ticket deal with. We invited them and got them a discount on their tickets. We had the Kiwani group over here and they're working our concessions booth. So we really like to slow down. We don't want to just take your money and run. We want to slow down and be a part of the community while we're here. So we've partnered up with the Last Kids on Earth. They are presenting our 2 mini monster truck drivers. We have Mason, who is only 12 years old, and Maverick, who is only 8 years old. And they are here, and we have incorporated a skit, and we are really bringing the Last Kids on Earth to life for our young audience through the mini monster trucks. And those kids, they go just as hard as the grown-ups do. And our drivers bring nothing but the best. We work hard for your hard-earned money. We know that you're taking your time and your dollar to come and hang out with us, and we want to go above and beyond. So we only bring the best of the best talent with us. We've got talent from all over the place. And these guys are awesome. They go on and they will burn it down and put on an awesome show every single night. They don't hold back. We have a bunch of different fun stuff on social media going on. We are at Monster Truck Insanity Tour and Live a Little Productions on Facebook and on Instagram. And our website is livealittleproductions.com as well. And you can see our full schedule for 22 on there.
Those are awesome trucks. Wish I could drive one. In fact, there was a wife in one of those monsters who raced and beat her own husband. Congratulations. Well, in other area news, Clark County and participating government agencies are hosting a series of surplus auctions online for vehicles and equipment and other miscellaneous items on TNT Auction's website at www.tntauction.com. All bidding for the auction will take place online, and bidding for Harry Reid International Airport lost and found items begins today and runs through Thursday, May 13th. Online bidding for the vehicle and equipment auction opens May 12th and closes May 16th. Online bidding for miscellaneous items, including computers and office equipment, opens May 12th and closes May 17th. Catalogs listing hundreds of items that will be sold will be available for viewing on TNT's website and will be regularly updated as the dates for those sales begins to get closer. Information about registering as a bidder and the terms and conditions for you participating are also on that website. And we'll be right back with much more local news.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back. Well, if you're looking for a new hobby to take on this summer, you might want to think about gardening. According to Cleveland Clinic's Dr. Deborah Benzil, it might be a great way for you to help prevent osteoporosis.
When you're out in the garden, the fact that you're walking, that you're using instruments, that you're using your body and your muscles in a certain way, it's called weight-bearing exercise. That's exercise when your body is attached to the ground. And so that's the best kind of exercise for you if you want to try to prevent bone softening or osteoporosis.
For those unfamiliar, osteoporosis weakens the bones, making them more susceptible to sudden and unexpected fractures. Dr. Benzel says research has shown that gardening on a regular basis can also help prevent dementia and boost your immune system. Plus, there are some mental health benefits too. So what should you keep in mind if you're new to gardening? Dr. Benzel says start low and go slow, meaning you should only do a little bit in the beginning and then work your way up. Don't try to carry heavy items right away or dig too many holes, and be sure to use the right equipment.
I also strongly recommend you do a light stretch and maybe warm your body up a little bit before you get out into the garden. And most important is after you've done the gardening is take the time to do a good deep 10 or 15 minute stretch, particularly for your back, your upper back and your lower back, because both of these areas get a lot of stress during gardening.
Dr. Benzel also notes it's never too late to get into gardening. It can be beneficial to people of any age.
How'd they know I love gardening? Well, we are going to find out everything there is to know about sports with Doug Ferber right now.
Hello, sports fans. As the Vegas weather heats up, the hockey season has finally melted away. The Aces have said deuces to their first two opponents. The Aviators hold the top spot and top pitcher in the PCL, and the Nighthawks drop one at home Sunday. I'm Doug Ferber. The Henderson Silver Knights, the last standing hockey team left in town during the postseason, were swept 2 straight last Wednesday and Friday nights in Colorado, ending the season. Both games were 5-2 wins for the Eagles in the best-of-3 series that really had the HSK playing from behind most of both games. After finishing the season strong, winning their final 6 games at the Dollar Loan Center, the postseason is now a memory. On a brighter note, Coach Manny Viveros returned to the bench Friday after going through treatment for prostate cancer. Here's his take on the series and his return.
You know, that's really good for some of these young players as far as in their professional career. You're not going to win all the time, and just how hard it is to win in this league, and even harder in the National Hockey League here. But even though we lost, it's something we can take from this to help them in their development going forward. I just wanted to get back. I just needed to get back with the guys, and obviously, first and foremost, you got to take care of your health first. And I got a green light to get back here, and I said, that's a no-brainer. I'm going to get here as quick as possible. So
the Las Vegas Aces came out with purpose in their first 2 games of the season. Friday night, the Aces were in Phoenix taking on their Mercury, who eliminated the Aces in the semifinals last season 3-2. Not Friday night, not this team, not in Becky Hammond's debut as the Aces' new head coach. The Aces controlled the game from the beginning, winning going away 106-88. jumping out to a 54-32 halftime lead. The Aces were led by Derica Hamby with 24 points and Jackie Young and Kelsey Plum each adding 20 in the win. In Sunday's home opener, the Seattle Storm battled Las Vegas through 3 quarters and tied it at 62 early in the fourth before the Aces pulled away for an 85-74 win. Hammond reflects.
We got to play the right way. I thought we were off the bounce a little too much. The ball stuck a little too much. And that's a very, very good defense. It's a very experienced defense. And so we needed to move the ball a little bit more. So we'll learn and we'll move on. But I thought overall our defense won us that game, not our offense, which is refreshing as a coach.
The Las Vegas Aviators are playing well. Last week they took 4 of 6 on the road from the Sacramento River Cats and are currently in first place in the PCL West Division. Right-hander Parker Dunshee earned PCL Player of the Week honors for the first week of May. Dunshee pitched 6 innings of one-hit ball last Wednesday for the Aviators in their 5-0 win over Sacramento, striking out 6 while walking 1. The lone hit came in the 5th inning. Dunshee is 1-1 on the year with a 3.25 earned run average. The Aviators are back in town beginning tonight when they host second-place Salt Lake City at the Las Vegas Ballpark. First pitch is set for 7:05 p.m. The Vegas Nighthawks dropped Sunday's game to the Northern Arizona Wranglers 45-18. Coach Mike Davis reflects.
The penalties in the first half, I mean, we had 7 penalties in the first 2 drives. 3 of them were offsides, 2 of them, that's just being dumb. I mean, that's just watching the football and understanding the down and distance. And, 3 of the penalties were on 4th down where we gave them a first down.
The Nighthawks dropped to 3-5 on the year and head to San Diego for a Saturday night clash with the Strike Force. For KPVM 25 TV Sports, I'm Doug Ferber.
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Hold on to your hats out there,
Is it
ladies and
still windy?
gentlemen. Look how windy it is. It's shaking our camera. It's blowing things here and there. We'll take a closer look at what else is breezing through after the break.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios. Lovely to see you on a Tuesday, and lovelier weather all the time up north. Check this out, Fernley, Fallon, Carson City. You get out from under that rain, snow, smuts advisory we had yesterday. Oh man, all kinds of stuff coming at you. Temperatures returning nicely, 48 degrees in Fernley. Fallon's got 51. Carson City, the cool spot at 44 as we march south. It gets better all the time. Tonopah, 54, 57 in Goldfield. Beatty's got 67. That seems like actually pretty dang pleasant compared to Amargosa and Las Vegas at 71 and 76. They are under a red flag warning for burning out in the yard. Please don't burn out in the yard, man. You're going to set something on fire. There's lots of wind, tinder dry conditions, terrible. Death Valley, 83 degrees. And here in the Paradise of Pahrump, let's take a look. 68 degrees. That is our current temperature. That is today's high. And we are all achievers. Congratulations. There you go. South-southwesterly winds buffeting us all day long at 17 miles per hour. Sun rose gloriously this morning at 5:41 under partly cloudy skies. And then it'll set this evening under clear skies. And we're going to have a beautiful sunset at 7:39. Temperatures down to just 43 degrees. But a beautiful star watching tonight. Winds out of the south-southeast at 15 miles per hour. Not really giving us a break, not even until tomorrow. And tomorrow, 19 mile per hour winds. Ew, what's going on? Well, it looks like it recovers Thursday, Friday, Saturday. In fact, we got a great weekend coming ahead of us. Looks like sunshine, temperatures up into the high 80s and 95 projected for Saturday, 97 on Sunday. Not too bad. We're going to get a little cloud cover. Some winds returning Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. But looks like clear skies on Monday and Tuesday, and that looks pretty good. Temperatures up in the mid-90s. That looks pretty good. I think that's looking pretty good for the foreseeable future. We'll let you know if anything changes. All right, back to the desk. Here's Deanna.
All right.
Thanks so much, John.
I don't know if the wind is going to end. I'm hoping.
I hope it does. My hair can't take it. I might have to, go switch to Aquanet, something stronger. I don't know.
Remember those days, Aquanet?
Yes, I'm aging myself. Sorry.
There you go. All right, we'll be back here tomorrow night. I'm Deanna.
I'm Unette.
Good night.
Good night.